Hello, dear friends, here we are. And we are here also at Kardec Radio, not only the Facebook channel, but also the Facebook Live. You know, Kardec Radio now has an app, and wherever you are in the world, you can download it free of charge and listen to it 24/7. Some programs are live, others are pre-recorded, but I assure you that you're going to listen to something new every day, the whole time. We have programs from hosts and editors around the world. And you can join us. If you feel like you can volunteer in any way, just write us an email at kardecradio@gmail.com, and you're welcome to join us, because this is a work that is not ours, right? We're just providing the means for the spreading of the good news, and you can join us wherever you are in the world, okay? Today, 40 nights with the Promised Consoler. Here we are. The Promised Consoler, as mentioned and promised by Jesus Christ. He said he would send the Promised Consoler who would tell us things that he could not tell us before, that would be revealed later. And these would stay with us to the end of times. Here we are at a most crucial time together, enjoying this gift, a true treasure that was given through the efforts, like immeasurable efforts of Chico Xavier and an immense group of illuminated spirits who brought to us 460 some books to help us calibrate our souls. And here we are today. Today we're going to study a chapter from a book that is yet to be in English. It's titled in Portuguese, Estante da Vida, Shelf of Life. And this is chapter 34, okay? And it's titled O Anjo Solitário, the Lonely Angel. Here we are, friends. Before we begin it, let's say hi to our beautiful community. This sense of community is very precious, because it gives us that sense of togetherness, which is very important, law of society. And many of us here, many of you may not have a spiritist center near you, and this becomes your reference. We hope that you multiply these efforts wherever you are. And remember, we always begin our efforts in our homes, in our circle of friends. And this is not about teaching people how to be a spiritist. No. It's about creating resources so people can live a better life through the teachings of the Promised Consoler, which is Spiritism. There is a chapter in the Gospel According to Spiritism by Allan Kardec that explains in the Spiritist way what this Promised Consoler is. Sometime in between these 40 nights, we're going to be talking about it, okay? For now, let us say hi to everybody and make sure that everybody feels together, welcomed, uniting our homes or our workplaces, wherever you are, from continent to continent, nation to nation, state to state. Here we are. Hello, Rihanna from South Africa. Rihanna, believe it or not, we're working on your book drive, okay? We recently mentioned it to several friends, including the president of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation and other friends. So pretty soon, some people have already donated books, and we will officially launch the campaign very soon. But it's an ongoing effort, and soon we'll be able to send you these books, all right? Hello, Melissa. Hello, Melissa. How are you? And Erica. Hello, Erica and Danny. They are in Pennsylvania. Melissa is in New York. just so we visualize the map and the lights being lighted up, and we're building these bridges. Leia Severo, hello Leia, and in Florida, Constance. Constance, am I right? Massachusetts, forgive me if I am wrong, okay? Sunshine, beautiful California too. How are you, my friend? Valéria Benfica, can't believe it. Valéria's doing a beautiful work. It's carnival time in Brazil, and she's in Salvador, the Mansion of the Way, working with the youth who doesn't want to be in the streets, going wild. They want to learn. She's there, teaching them with a group of volunteers, doing beautiful work. I'm sure about it. Thank you, Valéria, for being with us. Hello, Cesa, New Jersey. How are you, Cesa? I love the flowers. And Andrea, Illinois, right, Andrea? Yes. Adilson, sweet and kind friend who is in New York, right? And here we have Sol, am I right? It's in New York. Am I right, friends? Yes. And here we have Constance. You are in Florida. Oh, man, I'm so sorry I missed it. But we missed you. We saw you stop by the other day, and you're here with us. Thank you. Rudy. Thank you for being here. Rudy, remind us, Massachusetts, right? And Andrea, specifically in the plain in Illinois. Visualizing ourselves connected, these different locations, and everyone joining forces to the beautiful constructive current of thoughts. Shall we begin it? But be prepared, I'm gonna tell you. Have your tissue there, be prepared, because this journey today is very emotional. It really touches our hearts, deeper than you could ever imagine. So forgive me, you're right, you're in Connecticut, of course. Angelita is there. Let us begin. Chapter 34. This is day 3 of 40 nights with the Promised Consoler. McCurfy Claire is joining us. The Lonely Angel. As the Master agonized on the cross, the sky of Jerusalem was torn apart, and angelic entities in large groups descended onto the painful Calvary. On the dark dust of the ground, wickedness and ignorance expelled darkness so compact that no one could see the sublime manifestations. Strains of indefinable clarity began to bind the tree to the firmament, though the storm was announced at a distance. With a thirsty and oppressed soul, the Christ contemplated the heavenly landscape, hallowed by the glory that touched the brow of hero, and the emissaries of paradise arrived in great number. They sang songs of love and recognition that the human eardrums could never perceive. The angels of tenderness encircled Jesus' wounded chest as he breathed new energies. The bearers of consolation anointed his bloody feet with soft balm. Relying on delicate instruments, The ambassadors of harmony formed a lively crown around his troubled head, delivering touching melodies that were spread for the blessings of forgiveness upon the mutinous mob. The emissaries of beauty wove garlands of roses and delicate lilies adorning the ungrateful cross. After having kissed his almost stiff hands, the distributors of justice began to catalog the culprits, to call them, to clarify, and for their readjustment in due time. In an enchanting assembly, the donors of affection stood in front of Jesus and caressed his blood-stained hair. The envoys of light ignited bright spotlights on the painful sores, making him forget the suffering. The messengers of heaven worked around the sublime conductor of human beings, relieving and exalting him as to prepare him for the feast of the resurrection, when a hallowed angel of untranslatable splendor appeared, solitary, descending from the magnificent empire of on high. The Christ had no followers. This angel had no followers when he got close to the Lord. The angel kissed Jesus' feet, between respectful and tender. The angel did not dwell on idle contemplation of the task, which naturally belonged to his companions, but he sought the eyes of Jesus with an anxiety that had not been observed in any of the others. It would seem that the new representative of the compassionate Father wanted to know the will of the Master first and foremost. In ecstasy, the angel rose from the ground on which he had rested in the arms of the cross. He wrapped the bust of the unforgettable excruciated with unquenchable affection. Then, for a moment, the angel placed his attentive ear on Jesus' lips, which babbled lightly. Jesus said something that the other angels did not hear distinctly. The solitary messenger then detached himself from the hardwood, revealing serene and humid eyes, and immediately descended from the sunny mount to the shadows that invaded Jerusalem, looking for Judas to help and to support him. If humanity did not see his expression of greatness and mercy, the cherubim in service also did not notice his absence. But suspended in martyrdom, Jesus confidently watched the solitary angel accompanying his exalted mission in silence. That was the divine angel of charity. True account. This is not spiritist fiction. This is not an article or a chapter that was written through the devoted hands of Chico Xavier by the dedicated Humberto de Campos or Brother X for our entertaining. He is a reporter of the spiritual realm, and he is reporting to us a true account. an account that we, in our human eyes, could not perceive, but mostly because, as he says here, our own ignorance, our own wrongdoings expel darkness so compact that no one could see the sublime manifestations. Right, Rihanna? Sweet Rihanna, it's very beautiful. But it asks us all a question before we enter the details of the message, since this is a therapeutic conversation. And Jesus clearly recommended that we feel these teachings more than actually know of it. How often we miss the sublime manifestations of life because of our ignorance, lack of knowledge, lack of experience, because of the twisted pathways we have walked, and we miss the sublime manifestations of life in our daily lives. Can we rewind the tape of the day-to-day? Can we quickly, like St. Augustine recommended, that we end the day? I know for some people, friends in other parts of the world, this is already afternoon or morning or night. But wherever we are, can we rewind the tape of the last 24 hours and clearly point out to a moment in which we missed a sublime manifestation that was happening around it, and we didn't see it. We didn't notice. How often? In the Spiritist science, we learned that evil per se does not exist. It's simply the absence of the good. Like darkness doesn't exist. It's the absence of the light. We learn that ignorance per se is simply the lack of knowledge, the lack of experience. As we evolve, we're going to acquire it. But that creates some scales in the way we see even the divine in us. We're not talking about observing the sublime manifestations external to us, but inside of us. When you observe that you are able to change your thoughts per your will, that's a sublime manifestation in itself. Because we can stop the course, the train of our thoughts and say, I don't want to think in that direction. I want to change it. That is a sublime manifestation inside of us. And how often we take it for granted. Imagine if we were doomed to think forever in the same possible way. And we miss taking for granted these beautiful sublime manifestations. Only when we can observe those happenings in our lives, we'll be able to see the sublime manifestations elsewhere. Remember, we can only recognize what we know. And what we know inside of us, we can recognize in others. And we recognize the beauty, the harmony, because sublime manifestation is about harmony. It's about beauty. It's about true connection with God. And these angels that approached Jesus, they are those who are already aligned with God, teamworking with the Christ on the earth, making sure that he would transition back to the spiritual realm, to the on high, with greater ease. Right? As Constance is mentioning here, thank you, Constance, We're still so far of having these abilities, still so ignorant and lost. God help us to learn it faster. It's the vows of illusion. So right, my friend. But we're here together for this, working on it. We renew our hopes, and that's a sublime manifestation in itself, right? McCurvey Claire is kindly asking, how do we start thinking positive in that way? Because at times the negative keep rewinding the mind, right? And you're so right. But let me share with you. Joana de Angelis, through Divaldo Franco, in the book Happy Life, she has a tip. She says, whenever you observe that you have a negative thought, a negative feeling, you substitute by a positive one. How? By seeking the good. Remember Emmanuel's recommendation in the book Thought and Life. He said, seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, mold the good with the resources you have at hand. So for example, let's say I look at this pen, okay? And I say, I don't like this pen. And then I realize, Vanessa, remember, seek the good. Actually, this blue is beautiful. And instead of looking at the other parts I dislike, like a pattern here that I dislike, it's not true, I'm just fictitious here. I observe the things that I like. And it takes training for us to get out of those habits. Does it make sense, my Carfy Claire? So first we need to make an effort. Because André Luiz in the book Evolution into Worlds clearly tells us we need to make an effort. We evolve through learning by doing effort and repeating it. Effort, repetition. And then we'll get out of the conditioning that we've been used to. All right? Rihanna is sharing, I've been blessed to feel love and God in a very bad situation this week to help others see and feel it too. Learning every day, so thankful. Thank you, Rihanna, for sharing it. Opportunities for us. So first and foremost, Humberto de Campos is reminding us that often we are crucifying the best in us too. Jesus at the cross is also a reminder for us how often, to date, we still crucify the best and the divine in us. I'm going to give you an example. Okay, today we were at the Spiritist Society of Virginia with our monthly sessions on Spiritism for toddlers and babies. And we allowed the siblings to come too. The parents are together. It's a 30-minute session followed by free play by the kids while the parents are asking questions and receiving some guidance regarding parenting, because parenting is the mission of all missions. And a beautiful parent asked us this question, oh, my child is so sweet. This child allows the friends to go before him when entering the school bus. What do I do? Because I don't want him to be a doormat. Well, but that's the thing, friends. We cannot crucify the divine in our child. If our child is feeling okay at allowing the friends to go before him, as Jesus said, he's our guide and model. The last shall be the first. The one that serves the most is the greatest. So if we want the world to change, we need to encourage our children to be these ambassadors of the change. If they naturally display these changed behaviors, do not suffocate it. Do not crucify that divine again at the cross. Say, my son, do you feel comfortable doing this? My daughter, you do? Remember, it's okay. Let your friends go first. That doesn't hurt you. On the contrary, you are giving them an opportunity to feel good because they're first. And that's why you were born, to serve. Good job. You're going to go places this way. And that's how we teach. We want the world to change, but we don't want our children to be different. Often we don't have the courage to be different. And we crucify the divine in our child by making them be just like everybody else. If they are different, you don't tell them, oh, you're different. Just say, good. Encourage the good behavior without telling them that they are better than the others, because that's not humility. So just encourage the good by saying, good job. That's great. And, reminding them that they are here to do God's will on earth. And it's so cute because I was reading this book, Child of God, with Virginia. She loves that little book. And I said, it's written here, Virginia, God's will. She's only 3, and she's funny. She said, Mom, but what is the will of the children? And I laughed and I said, Virginia, one day you'll remind yourself that the will of children shall be the will of God. But for now, we're going to dream about it. But we encourage these thoughts and feelings of the right? Andrea is kindly reminding us that writing and listening to books are a good way to change negative thoughts. Exactly, like listening to Cardiac Radio, Spiritist Network, and many other things that exist. If you go to the page of the Spiritist, the United States Spiritist Council, they've just launched a series of resources for people who want to listen, to watch good things, multimedia ways. So just go spiritist.us and you'll get a hold of it, okay? McCarthy Claire is kindly sharing that her daughter likes to explain Jesus to her friends. She tells her friends that she is their sister, but I tell her don't, because I'm afraid she might talk about spirits. Was I wrong? Don't feel wrong. We understand, parents are constantly, especially mothers, like Mother Mary. She was concerned for Jesus too. It's like, can you imagine Mother Mary? When you go back, Cardiac Radio, YouTube channel, we have there the good news. It's chapter 2. When we learn from Humberto de Campos, Mother Mary is a mother. She worried too. And she was the mother of all mothers. The mother of the most perfect spirit that has ever incarnated on the earth. So that's okay for us to be concerned. Don't feel guilty. But let the children display their goodness. And if they come back and say, oh, but I said this and my friend said that, you see, and then you explain and say, it's okay. They're entitled to their opinion. Like we often remind Virginia, people have the right to do things their way. We need to respect. I'm learning it too. But we need to allow them to be exposed to that experience of seeing others think differently, have their opinions, but allowing her to share her opinion. McCaffrey Claire, if she feels very open to do those things and say that, let her be. Okay? The world's gonna get better with children like that. Makes sense? Thank you for sharing it, because we're happier now knowing that more and more good-hearted children, courageous, are in our planet already incarnated. So, here we have, first and foremost, this recommendation. Observe the sublime manifestations. Now, as soon as Jesus was there, many people asked, what happened to him? Did he suffer? Here we have, yes, he suffered. But in a way that is different from us, because he's ahead of us. And there were angels team working to help. So here we have strands of indefinable clarity that began to bind the tree to the firmament, though the storm was announced. When a thirsty and oppressed soul, so you see, he was thirsty and oppressed. No, he was not pretending, faking to feel pain. No, physically, he was being subjugated to the laws of physics. And you know, being a neurobiologist of pain, you have an inner mechanism that we call endogenous pathway. You and I can activate an analgesic system inside of us that can help us feel less pain. Certainly Jesus knew how to activate that, but that didn't mean that he didn't undergo the sadness of the moment and the impact of such assassination, because we're talking about an act, right, of death penalty. We're talking about murder. He was murdered. It wasn't simple. It wasn't easy. So, was he alone? No. Christ contemplated the heavenly landscape, hallowed by the glory that touched the brow of hero, and the emissaries of heaven arrived in great number. He wasn't alone. There were many, many, many angels, and Jesus teaches us lesson. He was never alone. He was leading, and he's the leader of all leaders. That's why in Spiritism, we don't talk about people being leaders. Oh, this person is the leader. No, we're no leaders. There's only one leader, Jesus. He is the leader. We are followers. We're working on it, apprentices. And they sang songs. And here we are singing too. Yeah? You see? Leon Denis, in a book that we pray day and night, that comes to English very soon because it's so thin. We just need the people to get their hands and boom, 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 go, translate it. It's unique. It's art from the view of Spiritism. Unique, his book. And he talks about how these higher planes of evolution, music is the ultimate communication. The angels sing songs of harmony, of love, recognition that the human eardrums could not perceive. Imagine you and I right now in this beautiful universe, and even on the earth, how many angelic forces are working, operating in great harmony, singing songs of harmony, and we cannot hear. And we can go home sometimes taking for granted these beautiful vibrations, thinking, I'm alone, oh my God, the world is so bad. But can you imagine the many angelic forces on the earth working day in, day out? If Kardec radio is 24/7, now imagine these angels, because Kardec radio is not an angel, but it's an instrument of angelic forces too. But imagine now these angelic forces working on the earth, operating day in, day out, to bring consolation, to bring relief, to bring progress, to bring hope, to bring kindness. Right? So think about it. And we often take it for granted. And I go home like I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help people. Breathe in and out and open our hearts, because these angels are working 24/7, and all they need are operating hands to manifest the angelic plans of God on the earth. Right? It's always reminding us, sometimes God uses people as angels to help us. We're never alone. Right. Exactly. But what kinds of angels? In the book Evolution in Two Worlds, in 2012, when we were translating this book at the Spiritual Side of Baltimore, it was a teamwork effort. Still awaits the publication because it doesn't depend on us to publish these books. But in that book, studying with a group of scientists there, we observed that there are at least 12 major categories of angels that participate and have been participated in the making of the planet and the life of the planet from beginning to now. 12 different categories. And they change by the role of theirs in not only the formation of the earth, but the many steps of its evolution and progress. And here we have in this text Humberto de Campos laying out, not by chance, not because of poetic way, but he's clearly teaching us some things probably we've never thought about. Angels of tenderness. Angels of tenderness? You know, have you watched the Care Bears? I'm saying this because, you know, when you talk about tenderness, it's like, Care Bears? I've watched a few episodes with Virginia because it's a good message there. But Care Bears, they have categories and each of them have a functional role. Here we have Humberto de Campos disclosing to us that these angelic forces, they have particular roles. Many people think that the spirits, when they reach a certain level, they can do whatever task. No, we're learning here that even though they are more evolved, they still have specific tasks that pertain to their expertise for some reason. We don't know much more than that for now, but that's what we know. Angels of tenderness. So tonight we're being invited to open our houses, open our workplaces, open our hearts and our relationships, inviting these angels. How about that? Angels of tenderness. What did they do to Jesus? And what can they do in your life? Angels of tenderness. They encircled the wounded chest of Jesus with new energies. You're feeling heart broken? Angels of tenderness. They come, allow them to come and heal that heart vital center. The bearers of consolation, right? The bearers of consolation anointed his bloody feet with soft balm. The bearers of consolation, here consolation is what? To bring relief. And of all parts of the body, the one that is mostly fatigued, when we're fatigued and need relief, consolation is the feet. Think about this. Right? Now let us invite. Remember, you go home after a full work day, you're tired. Instead of surrendering to that tiredness, go take a shower or lay down for meditation or sit down for meditation. Breathe in and out deeply and allow these angels of consolation to come and anoint your feet with a soft balm. You think they only worked with Jesus? They are here for everybody. Jesus never said he had any privilege. On the contrary, he was the one that showed to us that there is no privilege even for the governor of the planet. No privilege. So they are inviting us. Humberto de Campos is revealing here that there are different types of spirits that are dedicated to helping us in particular occasions too. Here we have the ambassadors of harmony. Ambassadors of harmony. Mamma mia, we need ambassadors of harmony throughout the earth. Right now, formed a lively crown around his troubled head. Jesus' troubled head? No way. Oh, yes way. Delivering touching melodies. Touching melodies. It's like that melody. Why the head? Ambassadors of harmony. Because harmony is the ultimate connection with the Creator. It's that vibration. And through, André Luiz says in the book Evolution into Worlds, that through the crown chakra, we express this ultimate connection with our Creator. And when we're troubled, we're not harmonious, we need the ambassadors of harmony to do what? Put a lively crown to calm down and bring some harmony. So, you know, those days you're confused, you're troubled, don't know what to do, visualize the ambassadors of harmony, putting a lively crown on your head, making you feel you're watching the news, you're desperate, fearful. No, no, no. Visualize the ambassadors of harmony. Visualize the ambassadors of harmony putting a lively crown of touching melodies on the head of our dear new President of the United States and his team. And touching melodies spread for the blessings of forgiveness amongst those who are around us. Friends, you know that song for the Peace and New movement that Divaldo Franco does. We translated it in December 2007. And if you go to peaceandnew.net, we have the whole version there. It's peace in the world begins with me. Imagine the spirits, the ambassadors of harmony, singing those touching melodies inside of us. A paz do mundo começa em mim. Se eu tenho amor, com certeza sou feliz. Se eu faço bem ao meu irmão, tenho a grandeza dentro do meu coração. Chegou a hora da gente construir a paz. And the song is already in English. Peace in the world begins with me. If I have love, for sure I am happy. La da da da, la da da da. And the ambassadors of harmony, bringing those touching melodies to us, making us forgive those who trespass against us. Deep inside, they are not trespassing against us because they are not happy. Because when I have love in my heart, I'm happy and I don't do it. But go to the website, peaceandnew.net, and you watch a clip and you see the lyrics also in English. It's beautiful, 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 okay? And let us evoke, especially nowadays, the presence of these ambassadors of harmony in our lives. So we can feel united in these constructive forces, right? Exactly, Cesa. This is Nando Cordel. I remember in 2007, I was there in Bahia with Divaldo Franco, December 19th, 2007, in front of 30,000 people. Unbelievable. And Nando Cordell was singing this song. We talked to him. He allowed us to translate it into English. And then we got professionals working on the lyrics, matching the poetry of the music, etc. And we made a version in English, which is beautiful. And then Steve Shepard from Pennsylvania kindly recorded it with the voice of Selena Shepard and many others when we were at the Spirit Side of Baltimore. So it's a song to be spread out to the world. The emissaries of beauty. That's unbelievable. Emissaries of beauty? Really? When Jesus is being crucified? But what is beauty? Angels of beauty, and they are not top models? No. They're beyond top models. It's beyond that. But beauty here, as Leon Denis says, beauty is that concept of true harmony. It's divine truth and beauty. Visualize emissaries of beauty. What do? They wove garlands of roses and delicate lilies, adorning the ungrateful cross. But people could not see it. When you watch movies that are done about the Passion of the Christ, it's hard to watch. Because that assassination act is ugly. But the emissaries of beauty make sure that they come and they adorn it. They bring to the cross roses and lilies, garlands of roses and lilies. I feel truly moved. How do you feel about it? When you go through a major disease, my friend, or somebody whom you know, observe that on the behind the scenes of that, the composition of the body, that physical challenge, there are angels of beauty, those who are dedicated to counterbalance and bring some harmony to it, some beauty. So that's why it's always good to bring flowers to people. Jona de Angelis said through Divaldo Franco, flowers are the signature of love, of God. Of course. And we have here Constance, flowers all the way, emissaries of beauty, lilies and roses. Now, after having kissed his almost stiff hands, the distributor of justice. Now, the hands through which we do what we need to do. Right, so I wish I could see them too. But remember, the more we evolve, the more we can get attuned with these beautiful forces of the universe. The distributors of justice, yes, but this is not a co-justice. It's a needed justice. Those angels who come and they catalog those who need to readjust themselves. It's charity too. Justice. So we don't need to be worried about, I want to bring people to justice. I want to tell God that this person is doing this. It's so beautiful because I see that behavior in toddlers. They say, I'm going to tell this person that you're doing this, etc., etc. The other day I saw Virginia doing something so cute. Said, Dad, I'm going to tell this person, I'm going to tell Jesus that you're now upset and you're not behaving, blah, blah, blah. It's so cute. We, like children, often are like this. We think we're going to bring people to justice, but even Jesus didn't need to do it because there are loving minds who are taking care of it, making sure that we are going to follow through a pathway of readjustment, as they say. Right? Hello, Aiden. Welcome, welcome, dear soul. Now you're here. Let us grow. Let us love. Let us serve. Let us help everyone. Welcome, welcome, dear soul. And Katya is here too. Welcome, welcome. Yes, and Abilio, I know you were there. And Marisa too, right? Singing is so good. By the way, talking about good, there is a beautiful public song about God being good, which is pretty much like this. God is so good, God is so good, God is so good, He's so good to me. God is so good to me, God is so good to me, God is so good, He's so good to me and you. Okay. You see, angels of tenderness helping our chest. The bears of consolation helping our feet. And I'm saying this figuratively speaking. Ambassadors of harmony, the head. The emissaries of beauty adorning us. Our difficulties telling us, you know, you're such a beautiful soul. I know you're carrying that cross, but remember, the beauty is in you. Don't be upset with the hardships of life. Remember, you are so beautiful to me. Can you see? Okay, in an enchanting assembly, the donors of affection. Donors of affection. I like that. Who likes being loving and caring? Science proves to us, my friends, how precious it is to caress. Caress. It allows us to emit these molecules of endorphin, making us feel lighter. So the donors of affection caressing the hair of Jesus, who was full of blood. The envoys of light, making him forget the suffering by bringing bright spotlights to the painful sores, like medication, like lasers, medicinal lasers of light, the envoys of light. Messengers of heaven worked around the sublime conductor of human beings. The sublime conductor of human beings, who yesterday told us that he wants us to feel mercy, not sacrifice. And our dear Sabine Beck kindly asked in a post, what did he mean? Sabine, researching on it, Mentor Joseph told us that this sacrifice he referred to Nicodemus refers to the Hebrew tradition when people feel repentant, because that's how Nicodemus was feeling. He was feeling repentant. He was feeling like, I didn't get it right. So usually until the year 70, the Hebrews had in the temple of Jerusalem sacrifices going on, offerings to God to tell them that they wanted to come to terms with the law. In the year 70, when the Romans destroyed the temple, they stopped doing those sacrifices. But Nicodemus was still living at a time in which even the Hebrew tradition had those sacrifice offerings when people felt repentant. And Jesus, knowing about it, already seeing Nicodemus ahead of time, said, don't go there. Remember, what I want from you is that you open your heart and feel compassion for others. Offerings to God like we do. Oh, I'm going to give this to the poor and I'm going to feel less guilty. No, no, no. It begins inside of us by feeling compassion and mercy. That's how we change the game of our attitude in life, right? So finally, a special angel comes by. What is this angel? An angel that came of untranslatable splendor. Thank you, Sunshine, for asking the question. But an angel more special than the others, if you're mesmerized about the angels of tenderness, the angels of consolation, the ambassadors of harmony, the emissaries of beauty, the distributors of justice, the donors of affection, the envoys of light, now comes an angel that is more splendorous than all of the others. Think about them. But different from the others, it's a lonely one, solitary, descending from the magnificence empire of on high. Who is this angel? Different from the others, he doesn't contemplate the task. He actually seeks the eyes of those who are suffering. In this case, Jesus is in need of help. So he comes and says, what do you want me to do? And he rose in the ecstasy, put his ears on the lips of Jesus, and heard Jesus' command. Babbled. The others could not perceive it. So this angel is the angel of all angels. What is it? But he's solitary. Why? We're going to talk about it. He detached himself, revealing serene and humid eyes. You know, angels, they have feelings. Though they are at another level, they have feelings too. And he immediately descended from the sunny mount to the shadows that invaded Jerusalem to look for Judas to help and support him. Remember when Jesus advised Peter, support him with the truth? Support means allow yourself to be the safe haven for those. So this angel leaves the realm, the sunny mount, and go to the darkest location to help the one that became the instrument of the most cruel evil of all times. No matter what anybody does in this world, it's never ever comparable to what was happening at the time. If humanity did not see his expression of greatness and mercy, now he's talking about Jesus too. We observe that Jesus was watching that angel because he is the commander. But he's in need. Look at Jesus' humility. He knows he cannot go there now. But he, as a loving shepherd, taking care of each and every sheep, he's making sure that each and every one, no matter if he's not able to be there in person, he sends somebody, the angel of charity, to go there and rescue the ones who are the most criminal minds of all times. That's the angel of charity. So when you in your life, I in my life, feel persecuted, crucified by the demands of daily life, by the happenings of the world, evoke the angel of charity, because it is the opportunity for all of us to exercise compassion. The message goes to the same direction as yesterday. We're in day 3, but it's the same message again and again, telling us, open your heart to feel compassion, especially for those who do not know what they are doing. This is the picture that Akiane painted, exemplifying to us that that moment was so sublime. Jesus was asking God to help every one of us in our own readjustment, which is difficult. Compassion. If you think somebody is doing any wrong, my friend, even ourselves, remember, the moment people wake up, the suffering is inevitable. Politicians who go wrong, administrators of all sorts, people in their daily lives and the families, the day they wake up, they realize what they've done. It can be maddening. Let us feel compassion for them. And if we cannot go there and help them out ourselves, remember of Jesus, keeping an eye, making sure and sending the angel of charity to rescue that person. That's the message for us in our daily lives, from ourselves to our families, relatives, friends, neighbors, leaders in the world. And let us not forget, peace in the world begins with me. If I choose love, I know I am happy. Beautiful night. Until tomorrow, God willing, proceeding these 40 nights with the Promised Consoler.